Well, you have been in the trenches, you're killing it, you're crushing it, you're loving your business, and time's gone by, and you might wake up one day and think, ugh, how the hell did I get here? I'm doing really well, I'm stressed out, there's just fires that I'm putting out all the time. I'm not a business owner, I'm a HR babysitter because I got 20 staff and everything's a nightmare, and you need to come up for air in your business. And today we're going to talk about something that it kind of ties into the last episode we did on what type of business do you want? Do you want the empire and take over the world and scale and freedom and democracy and America and pew pew and all that? Or do you want the lifestyle business where it's not a huge play to take over the world? You want to make good money on your terms at your speed because you're secure and you're happy with all that. Either way, what do you want? But within that, there's something that we need to come up for air, and we all have to do this. Sometimes we do it on a fortnightly or quarterly basis. Kayla Malss from Allies Management, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey.
What is that thing that we have to do?
We've got to stop saying yes or start saying no. And stop doing the things that aren't serving us in our business.
Yeah, because I think what can happen, it's the whole frog in the pot. It's the whole mission creep. We set out to do one thing.
Totally.
Next minute, why are we in this country, invading this country when we started over the other side of the world, but the mission just kept on creeping.
Yeah.
And we have to bring it back. So before we kind of get into the chat, can you think of something recently in your business that you've actually had to go, no?
Yeah, I can. And this is actually quite recent. I've had to stop saying yes when I see red flags in clients. And I think over time, these red flags, they probably weren't even red flags when I saw them. They were like beige, pink flags. And now I'm realizing, no. I have to draw boundaries.
It was a hard red.
Yeah. And I've been burnt too many times with clients who perhaps push me down on price, or who don't pay us on time, or who are just difficult to work with. And I have been burnt enough to now recognize those traits in these clients and know, hey, this isn't fun anymore. I'm not going to work with you.
Yeah. And it is fascinating because you'll get, and that's the psychology of it. It's like, I have to potentially turn down this client, which is a loss of money. I'll ignore the red flags. But the psychology of it is like literally saying no to work, like no to money. Hey,
very difficult.
take your money, take my money. It's yours. Go on.
Yeah.
And we learn that the hard way as humans because we get needy, we get desperate, we might have bills in the business, and we just need to take any work we can get.
Totally. And I'm not above working for a red flag if the bills need to be paid. Do not get me wrong. Like
right.
there have been times in the business where we were in a growth stage where we needed to work with those more difficult clients. And to be honest, without having worked with those difficult clients, our processes wouldn't have improved.
Right.
Our service offering wouldn't have improved because we learnt a lot by working with those types of clients. So they do serve a purpose, I will say that. How about you, though? You, I guess, are not really working in a client-facing business.
Well, I kind of am. There's just
the audience
thousands
are your
and
clients.
thousands of individuals.
Yeah.
So for me, and that does come into some of the things I've got to stop doing. Mm-hmm. Like I can't do one thing that might please a small group of the audience where I have to think big picture.
Yeah.
Is this most useful for, on balance, most of the people listening?
Yeah.
And that could be like, I've learned, like, if I want to do a little bonus episode on something, I have to put it up as a separate episode, not during normal programming. So, we do Tuesday and Thursday on the main show. And, like, when I interviewed a politician, for example. I'm pretty sure we did it as a bonus episode. So it was outside of regular programming. So if you were like, all right, M3 drops on Thursdays and Tuesdays, someone rocks up on Thursday and there's a topic with a politician that I hate, I don't want to listen. But I'll put that as a bonus on a Friday or a Wednesday or whatever. So it's outside of that regular thing. So I've had to stop. Basically, I had to, and this is the thing, interesting that you pulled this thread, saying no to something or changing the way you do something could create a little bit more work, but you need to make the judgment call. Is that actually going to make your business better? Kind of what you learned with, we said yes to the red flags, kind of shouldn't have done it, but we did, but we made things better.
Yeah.
So for me, by getting my team to edit another episode up during the week, where we easily could have just been like, oh, just put it on a Thursday, whatever, it's one less thing we can do. It does create more work, and that's annoying, but you step back and the end result's actually better because we haven't cannibalized the audience.
Yeah, and did you learn that by putting those kind of content, those types of episodes up, and the viewership wasn't very good, or did you was it a mistake that you learned by?
I think it was. I think I'd always had it as a conscious thing that I wanted to not do that for those type of episodes. Like, and I think we had been lazy in the past, but I'm like, no, I need to do things here that is actually listener first.
So are there any other big learnings that you've had to say no to in your business?
There are, and I'll tell you right after this. Okay, Kayla, you asked any other big things. I did learn this along the way. I was really strong on it. Then I got lazy. Then I'm now back because I saw the real reason that I wasn't. The reason I didn't start, but I don't know, I'll start. I had a thing when I started the business that it was never, I wasn't going to do something just for the money. So if a brand came along and like, hey, we want to sponsor the podcast, I'm like, yep, this is the price. If not, don't want you.
Away.
Like, there's a premium on here. And I was very strict on that because I didn't want to overwhelm the audience with different brands all the time and all that. And still to the day, I will maintain that any brand that I've had on the podcast that my voice is voiced or whatever, it probably would serve a portion of the community. And I know once that I did take a brand and did an episode or something for them, and I kind of knew at the end of the day, I'm like, I think I'm doing this for the money.
How did you work that out?
I worked it out because it just wasn't easy. The agency was annoying, just all this extra drama. Because I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll take, I don't know, 8 or 10 grand or whatever it was for the episode. I'm like, yeah, it's easy money. Got to do the episode anyway. Like, yeah, it's not the worst brand. It's not terrible. I wouldn't lose sleep if someone did use that brand. I probably wouldn't myself, but I can't use every brand that we talk about. And then, as soon as it's the same thing, you do it just for the money and it ends up being the biggest freaking debacle.
Yeah.
And drama and stress. And it's like, this now, the amount of drama and stress and time and energy that it's taken has actually made this not worth it at all.
Yeah.
So
that's a good distinction because I don't want people listening to think, oh, if this customer is annoying, it's all their fault. And I just need to say no to every customer who is annoying or something like that. Like, it's a good distinction to know when it's not a good fit or when something isn't working because something in your business has to change, a process or the
mindset. Vibe of the type of client that you want.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, don't get upset if you're like, yeah, we serve engineers, and then every meeting they want so much detail that drives you insane.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's your job and that's just part of it.
Exactly. Yes.
But if you like, oh, we serve artists and just help executors get stuff done.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can whinge when you knowingly get an engineer into your business and they want all the details and they want to half do it themselves and they can't make a decision because everything has to be perfect, but you can't guarantee perfection before you start.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can whinge, but it's your fault for letting that client in because you knew that you were doing it for the money.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that, for me, I've really had to be conscious of, am I doing this just for the money? Or does it actually align with the broader plan of the business?
Yeah, agree. I think for me as well, something that a shift I've had to make within my business is doing the same things over and over again that aren't working and really drawing a line in the sand. And a big one for me was expecting people to work with me who had no idea who I was. And as a service provider, you really need to put yourself out there as a service provider so you can connect with your customers so they get to know you before they hand their money over to you to work with them. And we were, posting on Instagram and doing all of the marketing things that you do as a marketing agency, but leads weren't working or there was a disconnect. People we would get leads in, but there was this bottleneck and it wasn't working. And I realized it's because I wasn't putting myself out there as a business owner because I guess I just thought it was a bit cringe and I thought it was a bit embarrassing or whatever. And that was a few years ago, and I guess I just put my big girl pants on and got over it and started posting on social media and started putting myself out there, and literally everything changed. My network grew. Leads were coming into us far more informed and already connected with the brand and with our purpose and almost like pre-qualified because they knew what we were about. And for so long, I was just doing the same thing over and over again and wondering why things weren't changing. Yeah. And that's now I've realized if something's not working, pivot, change.
And that's like, you raise a good point there, and as you're talking, I was kind of thinking back to, the top of your funnel. Like everything in business, I believe, has to be in alignment. And it does really go back to that very start of that philosophy. What are you doing here? Do you want the empire or the lifestyle? Okay, done. We want this version or whatever that is. I don't care. Then it's like within that, we need clients to sell to, whether it's product, service, consulting, whatever. And then really looking at, well, who do we serve? Again, back to that, if I don't want to serve engineers in my business, I'm not going to the engineer expo.
Yeah.
Like you're allowed to say, no, thanks, I won't take that invite. Actually, in fact, there was an
engineer expo the other day.
There was an engineer expo I was at. I did this, and this is the whole thing that I've also learned as well. There was a website called Babyology. Have you heard of that? Anyway, so when I had, let's see if it's still around. Babyology. Yeah, babyology.com.au.
We provide practical advice for parents and families to make raising a family a little easier.
So they're a big online blog, right? And before I started this, like the main podcast, which was at the time My Millennial Money, before I started that, Kayla, I actually had a podcast called Sort Your Money Out for 10 minutes. It was rubbish. So I stopped it. Then I started My Millennial Money and kind of the reason why we're here today. But I was approached, I don't know how it happened. They're like, oh, Glen, do you want to come to one of our Babyology live events and set up a stand? And there's one in Melbourne, one in Sydney. And you can, but they do a morning tea for mothers to be. It's a big bridal shower, basically, en masse bridal shower. And then around the edge of the room, they've got little expo stands.
Baby shower.
Baby shower, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, I got confused.
It's been a long life. And they're like, oh, do you want to come? I'm like, look, I reckon I could get some exposure out of that. And they're like, okay, well, it's like $5,500 for the booth for the 2 hours or whatever.
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah, here's $10,000.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah, I did it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get out there, try and, talk to, mums and just money help with the podcast, Sort Your Money Out. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, if you're going to do that, you also need to have a little gift for every one of them as well. So then I got some battery packs made, like little iPhone charger things or whatever they are, that were branded Sort Your Money Out, my website, my blog. And to be fair, and that was it was thousands of dollars to get that merch made, right? And So I did it, and that was great. Like, got to talk to a couple of hundred or thousand, women, and because they would buy seats and bring their friends and family and all that. And I'm just like, yeah, I'll try it. Get the brand out there. The sortyourmoneyout.com website isn't going away; it's still up. So did all that. But looking back, it's like, what the hell was I doing there?
Yeah, look, the whole time you were telling me this story, I was like, where is this going? I can't believe you did this. I hope there's a resolution here.
And I mean, I could probably even, let's open my email thing. We may have even still had some people, because one of the things was like, I'll get all their email addresses and do all that. And there was no other money kind of people there. And I had a financial advisor with me, and because I think one of our things was to make sure as well that you get life insurance, and get your family insured before you have the baby, right?
Yeah.
So I had an advisor there to talk about that. I'm just going to log in.
How long ago was this?
Oh, like 2018 or 17. It was before I started. I started My Millennial Money in 2018, and it was before I started M3.
Okay.
Because none of the merch was there. So I think, and I think we all go through this crap, but I'm trying to get to the point where I don't do dumb stuff like that aren't in line.
Yeah.
Have you done any dumb things?
Oh, I've done many. I'm trying to think in my business. I've never done like an event or anything like that. I haven't spent like thousands and thousands of dollars.
The ROI was not there, put it that way. I'm having a look at my email tags to see if there was still some from back in the day. I think I deleted the tag because I was just like, every time I saw the tag in the email system, because they got their email address when they registered, it just reminded me of the trauma of wasting all that money and not really. But I think we got listeners out of it. But
and it goes back to, it was a very expensive mistake, but I guess you only make it once.
Yes.
So then, like, was it really a mistake? And you know what I mean? Like, you still did learn from something. I think if you were to have gone back year after year and do the same thing over and over again.
Like at that point, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like, yeah, everything's a business risk. But I think what I wanted to kind of talk about with that is that whole thing. And you get this problem, I get this problem, and anyone listening to this podcast, whether you haven't started a business yet, whether you are in business and are new, or you've been in business a long time, we all have this problem. And that problem is right after this.
If you're after personal financial advice, don't get it from a podcast. But if you want guidance tailored to your situation, head to moneypodcast.com.au and click Get Help. We'll connect you with one of our trusted professionals, financial advisors and mortgage brokers, who work with people right across Australia. No matter where you are, they can help. Now, before we get back to the show, a quick reminder to protect your financial life. That means having income protection sorted. It means having death cover if there's any debt or dependents relying on you. It means getting your personal insurance in order. Most people insure their car, they insure their house, but what about themselves? Sky Wealth, who support this podcast, are specialist financial advisors who can help you get the right cover in place. Their advice is often more comprehensive and better value than going direct through your super. Book a complimentary 15-minute chat at sky.com.au. That's skye.com.au. And they'll point you in the right direction.
And don't at me, everyone. We want to make money from ads.
Well, don't worry.
We want to make money from ads. This is our business. The thing that I was talking about, we all get distracted from shiny objects. So do you have any things in your life or in your business life that is you were doing the same thing or making all these mistakes where you've actually put the saying, it's like better to have the fence at the top of the cliff than an ambulance at the bottom. Have you heard that saying?
I haven't, but it makes sense.
Oh, God, I'm old.
all these wisdom tidbits. I think for me, there have been times when I have gotten the shiny object syndrome if I'm having a tough time in my business. If something's not working or I don't feel like we're making enough money or whatever, if I'm going through like a bit of a a sad era in my business, I want to start another business, or I look at other things and the grass always looks greener. That used to happen back, I guess, in the first 3 years of the business when things were very up and down. And now I've connected a bit more to my purpose in a bigger picture, and I'm able to ride the ups and downs a little bit easier.
Right.
And I'm not so easily distracted. So, yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, so
Kinda.
But have you put any hard line fences in? Do you want me to tell you what I've done that helps me and our business?
Go for it.
So I think number one, I've become acutely aware that if I get bored, a new project or thing helps. For me, in my own life, I get refreshed and revitalized with a new thing or a new goal or a new project, right? And that's just in most business owners, because most business owners, we are builders. In the corporate world, or if you're in a mortgage broking business or an accounting business or a professional service businesses, as one of those professions or financial advice, if you're either one of the two, you're a minder or you're a finder. So you go and get the work, all good, or you're the professional where I just like to mind these clients. I don't have that drive to get the new clients and all that. I just want to look after people.
Yeah.
So it's I'm a minder or a finder. So for me, because I'm a finder, I'm a builder, I need new stuff. Or I get bored. When I get bored, I literally get depressed.
Yeah, okay.
That's just the cycle for me, because again, the years are adding up and I'm being very self-aware of my own life. What I had to do, it all went back to, with our business, the operating entity for all the podcasts, it's called SIMO Interactive. SIMO does actually stand for Sort Your Money Out. A lot of people didn't know that. So what we had to do as a team, we had to put the time in. It's what is SIMO about? Because you might remember the other year, a couple of years ago.
Remember that year?
That other year, we did My Millennial Coffee.
No.
So my friends who own, Glee Coffee, they made us, a coffee blend that was just for me, that I chose, and we did the My Millennial Coffee as a brand.
That screams shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, and so I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. We're doing this. Just 100% going for it. And I put the whole team onto it. We did a big shooting day at the coffee roaster. We put stuff for sale and all that stuff. We literally just went all in. So podcasting, Glen gets this idea, bam, pulls the trigger. My Millennial Coffee, so good.
Yeah.
I didn't do good market research. I wasted a lot of time. We didn't sell that many. It was just a huge waste of effort, waste of time, waste of everything. And what that was, it's no, we're actually a podcasting business. We're not a coffee roasting business or even a merch business. We rarely do merch.
Yeah.
Doing some limited edition stuff for a live event. But I'm not in the business of merch, because if I sold 200 bits of merch and made $10 each, whatever, don't care. It's not enough for me to go in all in. Go in, all in.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
ASAP as possible, that type of ATM machine. Rat test. No. So with all that.
All of that to be said.
With all that to say, we got our team together, and this really helped us say no to stuff, and particularly helped me. We worked out our why as a business.
Yeah. And
any business needs to do this. We agreed that our why, and this is not you don't hear this at the end of every podcast, SIMO Interactive exists, whatever. But as a team, our why is we exist to be an encouraging, fun, and relatable voice that leads our community to make meaningful life changes and unlock their potential. That's our why.
So then you can say, Money does not contribute. Not money. Coffee
Yes.
does not. Money definitely does contribute. Coffee does not contribute
Yes.
to that.
So every new shiny object that comes in, guess what I do? Run it through that sentence, that paragraph there.
It's like a filter.
Yep, absolutely. It's stopped a lot of drama. It's stopped a lot of money being spent. It's stopped a lot of time and resources being spent. Because, and with that, when you've got a team as a owner or a leader, and I have been guilty of this in the past and sometimes it creeps in, you cannot be chopping and changing and doing all this stuff. So you really need to know what your why is, what you know that you need to stop doing. And just a practical thing, because we will wrap up. We're trying to keep these episodes like 30 minutes. Bottom of the screen there in red, you can see it. What I think, if we can help people with practicals, what about if you know you wanted to stop, I'll make a scenario up. You've got a barbershop or a hairdresser, and hairdressers probably don't do this as much as barbershops, but you've got a barbershop, you're the barber. You want to get to the point, because the stuff that you say no to, like we've talked about, and the stuff that you say yes to and double down on, it will actually make a better client experience for everyone. You can charge more. It's just a win-win, right? So imagine if you were the barbershop and you had an online booking system you wanted people to use, but you still had walk-ins. Now, as a barber, walk-ins probably hard to manage, maybe. Particularly if you're one of those barbershops where it's like, come in and have a beer and have the experience and, here, Glen, we've just shaved your head and done your beard, gives $95.
Yeah.
I'm like,
forecasting is hard if you have all these walk-ins. Yeah.
Well, but it's just literally the experience as well, because it takes longer. And so like there's a barbershop down on the main road here. I just go, they shave my hair. It'd be like, I've worked it out. I'm like, see you guys in 10 days. Like,
Yeah.
quick buzz cut, trim the beard, like it's like $30 or something. Like, I just want to walk in and wait.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Gotcha.
But if you want to optimize the business and you do a bit of both, or you don't do any online booking, how can you set a path between now and 3 months' time to say, we're going to change this system, and maybe we do just roll it out slowly. So, hey, just letting all our customers know from the first of 4 months' time, we're actually just doing bookings only.
Yeah.
Or, hey, everyone, just so you know, on the busy days, Saturday mornings, Thursday afternoon and evenings, whatever they are, we're actually only doing bookings.
Yeah.
So what that does, it will allow you to budget your time more. It will allow you to potentially charge more. But what it also does, it actually enhances the client experience. Because you think, I go to the barber, I booked in, 7 p.m. or whatever the time is. I know that I won't have to wait 40 minutes. Sure, there might be 5 or 10 minutes, but I know that, yep, done that, part of the experience, I pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think it's an all or nothing overnight. And that's a really bad example. And I don't know if you've thought of other examples, but just as you've just got to take your customers on the journey.
Yeah. And going back to the shiny object thing as well, this barber, for example, could have been so frustrated with his walk-ins and it's so annoying. And then he just goes, I'm just going to go and get a job as a plumber or something. And a lot of the time when you are having that shiny object experience, it's not because your business sucks or because there's something wrong. It's probably just something within your business needs to be shifted. And
A repositioning,
a reframing, something needs to change to
I
stop
felt like
you.
saying, if you will, after I said that.
If you
A repositioning,
If
if
you
you will.
So, yeah, I think for, I guess, a little bit more like practical advice, for me, my business partner is the personification of shiny object syndrome. He loves to start a business.
Really?
To my detriment. He owns many businesses and it's gotten to the point now where like we joke about like if he were to start another business, it would be like a business divorce between me and him because it's just too much. And so I guess I'm the person who is the opposite. I'm telling him, no more shiny object syndrome. Hi. Glen's taking content.
Yeah.
But for me, I am not so much shiny object syndrome where I want to start a new business. I'm more of the barber where I get fed up of something, and I've now realized that
I can change that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the distinction of I can change that within my business.
And someone needs to hear out there that there in your business, there are no have-tos. Because guess what? It's your business. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
But we get stuck in the trenches.
And the day-to-day, like I was writing notes as you were talking before, for me, when I'm feeling bored or uninspired in my business, I know now that it's a bit of a weird term, but I guess like a trigger for shiny object syndrome. So now last year I went to South by Southwest, or like I'm taking intentional trips. I'm going on trips, and I'm going to events like South by Southwest where I can feel inspired and motivated to bring things back into the business. So I know those things happen throughout the year, and I'm intentionally going to those now to stop myself. It's not really stopping myself. It's more just like bringing myself back down to earth.
Yeah. And I think, there's no have-tos. You are in control. I basically, I was on a call the other day with a marketing agency, and I'm allergic to corporate world. I hate it. And I'm like, hey, the business is me. I produce the shows. I produce the show. I do the tech when I record. I'm govern all content that comes out of my mouth. I'm not told to do stuff. Like we had a brand reach out, and they're like, oh, do you want to do some work with this car company? And I'm like, yeah, all right, sweet. And they're like, but. And I'm like, okay, here we go. But can you refrain from talking about greenwashing over the next 6 weeks on your podcast?
Oh.
And I'm like, no. You can keep your money.
Yeah.
Because no one tells me what to say or what not to say.
Especially if it's a post and they're saying like, don't use XYZ in a post, that's one thing. But over 6 weeks.
Yeah, and that's it.
Like changing your whole business for 6 weeks.
That's right. And that's the dance. It's like if someone is paying me for some sponsored content, sure, if I agree to the terms, I'm definitely wearing my commercial hat. Like I'm not going to shat can their competitors on there. I'm going to be respectful and all that. I'll still be Glen and have fun. But I know I've got it's a very commercial thing. But if a brand's like, hey, Glen, you've never worked with this brand before. Do you want to do this campaign? It's good money and all that. But don't talk about greenwashing for 6 weeks. If I was desperate for the money, probably would have taken the money.
Yeah.
And conformed to that and been annoyed because I felt gagged. But because my name's on the door, it's my business, I have the final call, you can shove that ad up your ass because I don't want the money if you're going to gag me.
Yeah. What's the saying, like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice.
Shame on me.
Something like that. But basically, like, learn from mistakes in your business and, like, don't keep doing stuff that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It has to be a win-win.
So the future is yours, everyone. How are you going to control it? How are you going to do it? And one thing that I've really had to say no to or stop in finishing, I need to keep my episodes shorter on all the podcasts because commercially, number one, with a shorter podcast, you can actually get to the point faster, add more value. And I hope today you've thought about things that you can start or stop or change in your business. So there's that. It's a better product. Number two, we get paid the same whether I send an hour here or 35 minutes here. What am I going to do? Like, sure, I'll still do a podcast some days where it's an hour if I need to, whether it's 3 or 4 hours on a campfire chat. But for the day-to-day, I'm tightening it up. And there's other reasons for that as well. Like there's higher chances of someone clicking play if it's under 40 minutes than if it was over 50 or something. So that's kind of...
Same thing as the barber thing you just said. Like you're optimizing the customer experience.
Which will enable potentially more customers to come, get a good experience and tell other businesses about that.
Totally.
And, I'll finish on this. Another barber I went to on the coast, Tony, I would go there, it's walk-in only, which is fine. And he makes a good living and all that. So I'll get there and... because everyone wants a fade now. He's like, oh yeah, I charge X amount more for a fade. I'm like, Tony, bro, like he's taking you an extra 15 minutes. That 15 minutes, you could charge probably $40 or whatever for someone waiting in the seat. Up your prices if you want to fade because it's literally taking you longer and you don't enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll leave you with that, everyone. My name's Glen James. This is
Kayla Malss.
Where are you from?
Allies Management.
How can you help?
I run a full-service marketing agency for service-based businesses. So social media, ads, email, copywriting. That's what we do.
No, you help people look good online and take all the pain points away.
That's for the next episode on elevator pitches.
Is it? All right, bye.
Any advice is general financial advice only, which does not take into account your objectives, financial situation, or needs. Because of that, you should consider if the advice is appropriate to you and your needs before acting on the information. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the Product Disclosure Statement, PDS, and Target Market Determination, TMD, and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored to your needs. Simo Interactive Pty Ltd, the publisher of this podcast, and Glen James are authorised representatives of Money Sherpa Pty Ltd, which holds financial services license 451289. Opinions or comments from any guests on the podcast are theirs and not those of the host or the publisher or their respective license holders.